Today, I'm going to give you my own recipe that I use to figure out how to create products that sell and tapping into what buyers actually are looking for. First, we need to talk about SEO. SEO is your search engine optimization. It's the keywords that you're using in your title, in your tags for your listings on Etsy that are going to match what a customer is looking for. And I think that most sellers actually have this down pretty good. I think that there's tons of resources, tons of research tools, tons of different ways that you can find in-demand keywords. Keywords that have high search volume, have low competition. But SEO is only one piece of the puzzle, and there's another piece that can actually supersede SEO, and that is what we're talking about today: demand. I want to show you a few different listings here as examples. Here's this first one. This one is in demand. 2 people have bought this in the last 24 hours. You can see by the title, they're really not optimizing their SEO. They don't have the strongest keywords in their title. Their title is very short. And if we analyze this listing with Everbee, it's still a very successful listing. It has 602 total sales, about 112 monthly sales, bringing in almost $2,000 in monthly revenue. Same thing with this listing, short title, not really optimized at all, but also has a bestseller badge, in demand. 2 people have also bought this in the last 24 hours. In total, it has 3,702 sales, over $7,000 in monthly revenue. One more example, this listing, very, very simple, basic title, not very optimized, still a bestseller. 5 people have bought this in the last 24 hours, over 1,600 total sales, and almost $6,000 in monthly revenue. These sellers all tapped into demand, and that superseded their SEO, which is why they have bestseller badges and they're making money from their listing. The flip side can also be true. You can have textbook perfect SEO. You follow exactly what Etsy says, the guidelines, all of the things. But if you do not have a product that is in line with what those people are looking for and actually gets them excited to buy, it's not going to sell. And this is honestly what I think is happening to most sellers, because there's so many resources for how to create SEO, how to find keywords that are in demand, people are looking for, and that's only that one little chunk. The piece that I want to drill down into is tapping into demand with the design that you create. In order to tap into demand, you have to let go of understanding demand through your own lens. When you do that, that is going to help you actually tap into what is in demand. A lot of the time we inject our own opinions or thoughts of, well, I wouldn't buy that, or I wouldn't wear that, I wouldn't want that. But our own opinion is just that. It is our own opinion, and it doesn't always represent what the buyer's opinion is. I can say from my own experience that out of all of the products that I sell, I would probably only purchase a very small handful of them. And that's okay, because they still sell every single day, because they're tapping into what my target customer does want and what they're interested in. So how do you figure out what people actually want before you design it? Let's jump into my recipe. What I see most sellers doing is they're falling into one of 2 camps. The first is they are starting from scratch, completely designing something unique that they have pulled out of their own mind and imagination. This is purely going off of their own taste and what they think is going to work. And then those things don't sell. The second camp is that sellers are pulling from demand. They're looking at other best-selling listings, best-selling designs, and they're taking that design, changing a couple little things with it, maybe the color, maybe a little bit of the font, something very small, and basically replicating it into their version. But this is being too on the nose with it. Looking at what's working and then making just a slightly different version of it doesn't work either. What actually works is the middle ground in between the two. You find chunks of proven demand, design styles that are selling, colors that are selling, fonts that are selling, and then you pull little pieces from each of those, combine all of those chunks, and you create your own Frankenstein design that has a little bit of nuts and bolts and different things from everything else that you have looked at during your research. I'm calling this the Frankenstein effect because you're pooling and stitching all of these other little chunks and pieces and merging them all together into your own unique concept that's not starting from scratch and not just a slightly different mirror copy of what else is out there. This Frankenstein effect is exactly how I approach every single design that I create now for my print-on-demand products. So let me show you exactly how I do this. To make this really simple and also save time, I am going to be using Everbee to sort through all of the listings and find my demand, find my research. To keep it simple, I usually filter by revenue or by sales. Now there's 3 different demand chunks. I don't really like using the word chunk, but I can't think of a different word right now. So 3 different chunks that we are looking for information from. So the first is I'm going to be looking for design style inspiration. I'm going to look at each of the designs that I pull up and really just try to get an understanding of the layout that I am observing. I'm not paying attention to the niche, the theme, anything like that. I'm just looking at how they have laid out their design on their product. A great way to think about this is I always try to envision that I'm describing what I'm seeing to somebody who is blindfolded. So for example, with this specific design, I might say, okay, there are 3 lines of text with quotations around it in a font that looks like it was written with a typewriter. I'm just getting very descriptive with what I'm looking at. And the things that I say are the little details that I'm going to circle back to as I am Frankensteining my own design. For this design, I would describe it as having a blocky kind of varsity style text with a slight curve to it. This design is using a serif font. It has curved text along the top, graphic in the middle, and font along the bottom that is straight, and it's also italicized. Another design with text that is slightly curved along the top, straight text in the bottom, and then like a graphic image in the middle. Now, the second chunk of demand that I'm looking for is I want to understand what colors are working in these listings that are selling. For example, this listing has a pretty interesting color combination. There's of course the yellow for the bananas, blue, this, I don't even know what you would call this. Is this red or is this pink? Reddish pink, pink lines in the background, very bright colors. And don't worry if you're feeling lost, all of these chunks, they're gonna make sense. I'm gonna pull it all together, I promise. Just be patient. This listing has more of like a reddish orange color, and it only uses 1 color in the design. This listing also just uses 1 color, but this is just more of like a royal blue. Now, the third chunk of demand that I'm going to be using are the fonts that I'm seeing pop up in a lot of different best-selling listings. This listing is using kind of like a retro script font, I would call it. This listing also uses a script font, but I feel this one has a little bit more of like a Western vibe. I don't know if it's because of the horses, but that's how I would describe it. This listing has a few different fonts going on. This one in particular right here, I know for a fact that that is the Beth Ellen font. I know that it's in Canva. I'm not sure if it's in Kittl, but I know you can use that font in Canva. And we also have more of this kind of like bubbly sans serif font. It feels more handwritten, like it was written with a big thick marker. Okay, so now I have all of my different little chunks from this research. Now, I did this very segmented where I looked at design, then I looked at color, then I looked at font. When I'm normally doing this, I did that just for the sake of explaining it in this video. But when I'm normally doing this process, I'm gathering all of those different chunks as I'm looking at the design. So I might be looking at something for the design style and also feel inspired by the colors that are in it as well as the fonts that are in it and pull those components. The thing that I really want to emphasize is that I'm looking at tons of different listings, specifically sorting them by listings that are proven to be selling, listings that have high revenue, high sales volume, which I personally use Everbee to find that information relatively quickly. Everbee is a research tool that I do have a discount link for. I'll have it at the top of the description box below. If you do use my link, you get your first 2 months for 50% off. So it's kind of like a buy one, get one type of deal, but you do have to use that specific link. It is an affiliate link. I do receive a small little bump back if you do use my link, so no pressure. You can also just go find Everbee on your own, but using my affiliate links also helps support my channel. So I appreciate it if you do. As I'm gathering all of these chunks, I'm also screenshotting them so that I can create my own little vision board to pull from. That's what you can see here. I like to just have everything that I pulled inspiration from right in front of me so that I can then draw from these to create my own unique design. So I ended up actually creating 3 versions of one design. Let me show you what I came up with. So first things first, everything that I'm pulling from, again, the niche wasn't important. I wasn't really looking for my specific niche, which in this case, I'm designing for the Christianity niche. I don't necessarily want to pull from what's already working in that niche. I want to bring something that's new and unique, but also something that is in line with demand. So this is what I created, and I want to show exactly kind of where I Frankensteined all of these different elements. So the first thing that I pulled from is in a couple different designs up here, but it has to do with the curved text. So we have the curved text here, curved text here, curved text here, and that format of these two where it's curved text, graphic text, something in the middle, text below. Those are the first things that I pulled and what I started with for kind of like the foundation of my design that I made here. Now, the other thing that I decided to draw inspiration from was the font styles that we saw in this listing right here. I really liked this handwritten kind of blocky, chunky font, and that is what I did for the text here and for here. This is actually a font that is native to Kittl. It's called Grizzly Beast. It's one of my favorites if I'm ever doing this type of font style in my designs. I also really liked the font style in this Hey Sunshine design. I couldn't find that exact font, which no big deal. I usually just try to get a theme of the font and go similar to if it's a script font, if it's a serif font, if it's more of like a bubbly font that I used here. And so this is actually what I did. Now, this actually isn't a specific font. What I did is I actually went into my iPad and I went into Procreate and I hand wrote that. Don't think that you need to do anything fancy like that. There's tons of fonts that you could pull from, but that was just my own little personal touch on it. And then I also really liked the striped line look. Now, I know I only have this particular listing as my inspo here, but this is something that I do this research all the time. I'm doing it at least once a week. Most of the time I'm doing a little bit of this every single day as I'm working on my own shops. And this striped background is something that's been very, very popular in a lot of different design styles and in a lot of different niches. So I decided to pull that into my design here. And then the final component, that final chunk of demand, is really determining what colors I'm going to be using in the design. I got a lot of inspiration from this listing. I thought this was so fun. And so I drew out all of these different colors, the yellow, the blue, the bright reddish pink, the light pink. And I decided to bring them into 3 different versions and I played around with them. They aren't exact to what the colors are here, but I liked the different versions that I have. I have this kind of like reddish pink on pink, blue on blue. I love a good monochromatic vibe with a design. It's one of my go-to things that I feel like I always end up doing. So that's why I ended up actually creating this 3rd version that is a little bit more out of my comfort zone when it comes to design, but felt very fun and vibrant and in line with the banana listing with all of the different colors. So I just did a couple different little versions from that. I did more of this like limeish yellow, lighter blue, more of a pinky red, and merged it all together. This is the Frankenstein effect, and this is exactly what I do every single time I'm looking to create new designs. Doing this research, it really compounds with time. The more you do it, the more you have almost like this little database inside of your brain that you can pull from every time you go to design. And it's going to make designing feel so much easier the more you do it. All of this to say, I don't want you to walk away from this video thinking that SEO is just out the window. SEO is very much still important. We want to have good SEO, understand what people are searching for, and then have a design like we've created today that is going to match what is in demand, what people are looking for, what are the trends, what are the styles that are selling. When we bring all of that together, we have a much better chance at actually creating print-on-demand products that sell. I know this to be true because this is what has worked for me time and time again, and it's also what works for students inside of my community time and time again. If the SEO, the keyword research, is something that you still are looking for a little bit of help with, I have a video that I want you to watch next. It walks through my exact process that I use to create my SEO for every single one of my listings. It has helped triple my views in my shops. So if that's something that you would find helpful, then you can check it out here next.